Hi everybody, Jason Williams with Centralutions. I just wanted to give you a quick tour of what's new in l.a.s.r version 1.2. If you take a look at the window when it first opens, you'll notice that the video in the window is going to scale to the size of the window by itself. This is new in version 1.2. Before, the viewport from the camera was always the size, or it was the same resolution as the camera. Now it'll stretch out no matter what size the window is. So you can see as I'm stretching this window, the video gets larger, and I'm actually using a fairly low resolution right now, and it's still stretching out to the full size of the window. So I can maximize the window, and it'll take up as much room as it can without actually clipping the video from the camera. The next thing that you'll notice is that, or maybe you won't notice it, but I want to make you aware that it's available. In the help screen, you can now remove your license from a computer. So if you have a license that you want to move from one computer to the other, or if you accidentally installed your license on your desktop but you really wanted it on your laptop or vice versa, you can remove your license and then you can reuse that same license key on another computer. You can do this once every 30 days, so if you needed to rebuild your computer, meaning you needed to reinstall Windows or something like that, you would simply come in, you would click Remove License, walk through that procedure, and then when you install l.a.s.r after you've rebuilt your computer, you use the same license key and you're up and running once again. Hopefully that'll be useful to some of you guys that are multi-computer users. The next thing I wanted to show you was the couple settings in the settings screen here. And the settings screen for standard users, which is what we're looking at right here, hasn't changed a whole lot. What you will notice is that there's a new feature, and this is for standard and pro users. For under the timer options, you can tell it when to call the next target. So right now the default is, and this is the way it's always been, that when a target is called, when the timer is set to call target mode, it calls the next target as soon as the par time is reached. You can change this now so that when the target is hit, or if you're a pro user, when it goes down, we'll talk about that in a little bit. If it's hit, then you can set it so that the next target's not called until it is hit, and until a certain amount of time has passed from the last hit on that target. And so let me demonstrate that real quick. If we change this so that, well, let's go ahead and change it so that the next target is going to be called between 0.2 and 1 seconds after the hit on the target. Let me close this, and I'll go down here and I'll change my timer mode to call target with par. And my par time is going to be 0.6 seconds, and I want it to call 3 shots. And then I'm going to hit start shooting, and it's going to give me a countdown.
1, 2.
So now par has expired. I'm well over par. We're 6 seconds into shooting target number 2, which it just called, and it still hasn't called the next target. So now I can hit number 2.
1.
And it'll call number 1, and then as soon as we're done there, it's going to go ahead and give us the finish beep. So hopefully that's useful to some of you. That was actually a feature that was requested by a customer, and we do listen very closely to our customers, and we do implement a lot of the suggestions that you have given us. They are on the list. So if you have a suggestion, please feel free to write to us and let us know what your suggestion is. We'd love to hear it. The next thing I wanted to show you involves the Pro version, so let me switch out my license real quick and I'll show you that. Alright, I'm back. I have switched out my license and we're looking at the professional version now. So let's go take a look at the settings screen one more time, and you'll notice that there are a couple of things that have been added for the professional user. The additional tools box is new. If you're a standard user, you haven't seen that. Professional users get these additional tools. You already know what diagnostic mode is, and you already know what race mode is, hopefully. And hopefully those make your dry fire practice much more interesting and fun. What's new in version 1.2 is this target down mode. You'll notice that We've switched a couple of things around in the settings box, and you now have these switches to enable these modes. So if you wanted to turn on diagnostic mode, you could click that and it would now be enabled because it says on. And then you can go change the options for the diagnostic mode by clicking on the options, and you can change the color of the line and the width of the line, which is new in this version. You can set the width of the diagnostic line separately from the width of the dot. And then, as you've always been able to do, you can set the line color for those diagnostic lines. But the thing that is the most new in version 1.2 is the target down mode. So let's enable that, and we can go into the options. And please do remember that all of these options only apply if target down mode is turned on. The options in here are hopefully fairly straightforward, but the idea is that when we enable target down mode, one or more of our targets are going to go down with a certain number of hits, and it will announce that the target has gone down. So what we want to do is we want to set the required number of hits to put a target down. And so if we want it to be a little bit random, we can change this so that we want between 3 and 6 hits on a target before it actually goes down. And then the sound that it's going to play when the target does go down, we can set to a couple of different options. There's an air horn and a buzzer, and then there's kind of a radio guy saying tango down. You can choose between those. And then you can tell it to disable down targets, which means that once a target goes down, it cannot accept any more hits. So when you pull the trigger on a down target, it does nothing. The other option is to set a separate shot tone for effective hits versus excessive hits. So an effective hit, maybe you want metal impact, and an excessive hit, which means a hit that occurred after the target went down, maybe you only want a gunshot. And so we'll keep it that way. And we won't disable targets when the target goes down, so that we can go ahead and demonstrate the excessive shots. And so that's the options for the target down mode. Let me demonstrate how it works real quick. So if I just wanted to start shooting in basic mode, we're going to be able to place some hits on our targets. So let me do that. So the target just went down, and that's what the buzzer was. So now if I place a hit on that same target, there's no metal impact. There's only gunshot, and it is a different color on the target, so that when I come back, I can actually see that the shot was excessive. So when I go back and review my shots, I can page through them just like I always have, and then this checkbox here in the shot list tells me which of the shots put the target down. So I can highlight that one, and that is the 5th shot. 7th shot was excessive, 6th shot was excessive, and then of course all of these shots were leading up to the target going down. The other way I can use this, let me clear these out here, is in the call target with PAR. The interesting part about this is that when it calls a target, it resets it so that it sort of brings the target back up, so you have to put it down again. And so just for the sake of time here, let me go ahead and change this back down to the default of between 1 and 3 shots to put a target down. And then we're going to have it call 3 targets. And the feature I was talking about earlier back in the settings screen, where the don't call the next target until the target is hit or until it is down. If target down mode is enabled, it's going to use that downing shot as the last shot that it's expecting before it's going to call the next target. So it's going to wait for me to actually put that target down that it called before it will allow me to move on to the next shot, or I'm sorry, until it will call the next target for me to shoot. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Maybe a little demonstration will help. We're going to use a 0.6 par time, and we're going to have it call 3 targets for us, and we'll begin shooting.
1.
So I need to put target 1 down.
2.
That target went down, and then it called 2.
1.
Target 2 went down, and now it's called target 1. And I can hit target 2 again if I want, but that is an excessive shot, and it has a different shot tone because that's the option that I chose. So it called target 1, and I can go back to target 1, and target 1 went down, and then all is good. And then I can, of course, put excessive shots on those targets if I want to, but they register as excessive. They show up as red. Anyway, that is the short and long of the target down feature. If you do have any questions, please feel free to contact us about this. Hopefully this makes your dry fire practice much more interesting and more fun, more useful. We appreciate your business, and we look forward to releasing the next version, which will have even more interesting features. Thanks a lot, and we will talk to you later.